listening to Around Comics. 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 Comics.
You are listening to Around Comics episode 431, A Death in the Family. The death of DC Comics, HBO Max, Batgirl.
Everything is dead.
Everyone's dying. I'm Brian Salazar. With me is Christopher, the man, Niesman.
The man, the El Hombre.
You don't really have a nickname, do you?
I don't really want one.
Chris, nicknameless Niesman.
There you go. Nearly nicknameless Niesman.
Nearly Nick. I don't know. I'm not good at giving out nicknames.
No. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I have my variety of drinking vessels around me, ready to attack another episode of what? Oh, what's that? Ooh, it's a hard Arnold Palmer. Oh, a hard Arnold Palmer.
Yeah, just like Mrs. Palmer enjoys.
So what's going on, bud?
Oh, just I was refilling a spa today. That was what I was doing. Dumping water out and refilling a big bathtub. That was my day. So other than that, very good.
Horrible.
It wasn't that big a deal. More just time consuming, waste of time than anything else.
Well, speaking of wasting time, we are waiting for one Mr. Tom Taters. He will be here in a couple minutes, but as Sal alluded to, we're going to talk a little bit about HBO and Time Warner and Discovery and all of the stuff that's been going on that's going to be affecting what we watch, what we read.
Look at the devil.
Hi, Tom.
And he shall appear.
I'm here.
Whoa!
I said your name 3 times into a mirror.
Yeah, it's a Candyman. Or
the Candyman. The Candyman, Tom. Yes, the Candyman, Tom. Who can make the... Oh, sorry.
What are you drinking there, sir?
Some Polar Seltzer.
Ooh.
Lime flavor.
Lime.
There you go.
Refreshing.
Delicious lime.
All right. You want to jump into this? Kind of talk about what's been going on at the old HBO, the home box office.
Is that where we're going to jump right into?
Are we jumping in?
I did create a stinger for.
Oh.
That's our little news.
Oh, wow.
alert.
That's way too good for us.
That's way
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Dun, 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 dun. Everything is going to hell.
The gravy train's done, baby.
This just in: Warner Brothers Discovery merging with HBO Max and Discovery Plus and canceling all of the movies.
Everything.
Canceling everything.
All of the TV shows. No more kids shows. No more animated shows. No more Batgirl. No more Scooby-Doo. No more
Sesame Street. Get out of here.
No more Sesame Street. Elmo, go fuck yourself, Elmo.
Yeah, Elmo, you're gone. You're done.
You're done.
Get out of here. Oscar, get back in your garbage can. It's over.
It's all over.
It's all over, baby. It's all reality now. It's all going to be reality shows.
All travel reality shows. That's
it's all going
to
people will be psyched, obviously, because I assume that you guys, like me, are subscribers to Discovery Plus and are excited about the synergy opportunities, the obvious overlap between.
Listen, I'm
HBO
excited because my AT&T stock split, and now I own this fucking whatever the hell Discovery plus HBO Max plus Discovery is going to end up fucking being.
Yeah.
And I hope that it's well, I mean, as a shareholder, I'm happy that they've written off like $800 million in taxes now. But as a fan of DC Comics and the movies that they were coming out.
Entertainment
of entertainment in general.
Yeah.
I'm not really thrilled. I'm not really crazy about this whole this merger.
Well, I guess and there's a lot of focus being thrown on HBO and Time Warner and all that because it's happening. But Netflix has gone through their issues, and you see Amazon Prime is I think the big players are figuring out the streaming landscape, and I think they came out of their corners, just throwing heavyweight blows, and it just seems natural that there's going to be a little bit of a receding of what literally the tidal wave of streaming that we've had in the last 4 years.
They figured out that documentaries about serial killers made out at 95% B-roll does just as well as a $500 million movie.
Why spend
why spend it? I mean, it's like I always think about what was that movie that Netflix just came out, the one with Chris Evans, Gray Man.
It was a great action movie.
But think about like how expensive that movie was and how little it impacted popular culture, like in any discernible, like it was like number one on Netflix for like a week.
It's like not a quality Wednesday evening, watch.
And that's something about the quality of it. I don't know. I've heard it's good, but it's like
it's fun.
They don't market it very well. Like, is there, like anyone who doesn't have Netflix, do they first of all know it exists? Are they compelled in any way to get Netflix if they didn't have it to watch it? Or is like, oh, I'll watch this, and now I'm back to the Jeffrey Dahmer diaries or whatever, thing.
I think for Netflix, it's more retention at this point than anything. Yeah. I don't know that they're necessarily growing their subscriber base or that's where they're, but
that's their problem, right? Is like,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they have a problem or not. Do they have a problem? Is there a problem at Netflix?
Well, I mean there was
potentially. I mean, not once they stop spending $500 million. Like if you spent that much money on a movie, and like even within your own app, you couldn't make it number one for more than a week. Like it's like, I mean, it's just natural. It's what's going to end up happening. All
right, it was 200 million for Gray Man.
200 million,
a budget of 200 million.
I think you talked about retention. I think they're going through like the same thing that like Peloton did. It's like over pandemic. I think anyone that wanted a Peloton was gonna get a Peloton, and with like Netflix, anyone who was gonna be a subscriber was a subscriber over lockdown.
But I think that happened a long time ago. I think Netflix was like they had first mover advantage, right? Of like, that was the streaming thing everyone got because that was the streaming thing. And now as there's more competition, part of it too is I've done it where I'm like, is there really stuff on Netflix that I like, or do I just have it? And then I sit down and I think, and I'm like, if I got rid of Netflix, what would I not have access to that like would actually bother me? That I wouldn't be able to watch whenever I wanted to.
The new season of Queer Eye,
and I'm sure people do that with everything, right? They do that with that's how the system now works, right? Is like there's all these like things you subscribe to, and you're like, and you're like, this is. Oh, I'll get that. And then you get it for a while and you forget that you're paying for it. And then one day you're like, I paid $15. And then you're like, do I really? Yeah. Like
I like what Apple Plus does. Apple Plus, they just made it $5 to where it's literally, it's like a what's the gym, the $10 a month gym. It's more of a pain in the ass to turn it off.
But like in 3 years, it'll be like, I paid $10 for this.
Yeah.
Like that'll be what ends up happening, is because that's the cycle all these these streaming services go through.
I get all my money's worth. I watch everything.
I don't know if that's possible, right? I was talking to on my vacation, this topic in a different way came up. I was talking about, like, it's like hard to even know what's on Netflix or what's on Hulu, like to actually like wrap your head around what's available is a really like difficult thing, right? So like you said, the algorithm like feeds you the things that they think, and they have all these things about completion rate. They have things about like how fast do you go through it, right? Do you binge it or do you watch it slow? Like shows that everyone gets their completion rate from first episode to last episode, that gets a bigger boost, right? So there's all this algorithmic way of feeding you things that they think that you like, but
you are just a formula, sir. That is all you are.
Yeah, you're a formula that they're trying to figure out, right? Like that that can be unsatisfying sometimes because you're like, oh, I didn't know that was on there because the algorithm didn't feed it to you, right?
It's an interesting thing because it's like, at one point in time we sort of curated our own things. Like we searched out, we went to video stores, or we talked to friends, or we, whatever it was, and you kind of found cool stuff from word of mouth or a flyer or whatever. I mean, something in a magazine, that kind of a thing, and you sort of curated your own information, your own entertainment. But now it's just constantly being pushed to you. It's just constantly in your face. Here, watch this, see this movie, see this TV show, binge this. And it's
consume
really and like you said, it's all algorithms telling you what you think you like or trying to show you things they think you might like. I always laugh at like some of the ads I get in like Instagram or something or online, right? Some of it's like, what did I click on that they think I want this? Like, what the fuck could I possibly have, been into that they think I want this product? Because it has nothing to do with my life. But then there's some stuff that's pretty cool that I find all the time. I'm like, oh fuck, I would buy that if I would.
Right? Like, there's all kinds of techniques for how they retarget you based on like your information, the things you've clicked on. Like TikTok actually has a really interesting algorithm in that it's based on the least amount of search. Like, right, when you're like on Instagram or you're on Facebook or any of those places, so much of what it feeds you back is built on your own search. But TikTok's is based solely on other people. You watch this whole video 3 times. Other people that watched this video 3 times also liked this video. So you don't even have to search for anything. Right. Or like, look, it's like you can, and they can use that, but they start feeding you stuff based just like
how fast you flip through something. Do you watch it or do you just go right past it?
And there's very little like of you searching for anything involved in it.
Right.
Before they can like build out like what they think you like, and like, and then it keeps building based on what you do. But and I mean, that's how all these things are going to work. They're going to be based very little on what you search for. It's all going to be completion rates. It's all going to be like, how fast did they turn this on from when it was released, right? And like, it's going to be interesting, right?
Well, I always laugh like people getting upset with like HBO Max. They're getting rid of a bunch of stuff from their streaming service, and they're not going to invest in movies going. When the pandemic hit, when COVID hit, HBO Max, the CEO at the time, famously was like, everything for 2022 is going to be on HBO Max. All of our releases are going to be on HBO. And now the new CEO is saying, no, that's going to stop now. We're going to stop investing money into all these animated shows that people are watching. We're that are sort of niche but popular. We're going to stop. Movies are not going to be released immediately on HBO Max going forward. It's not going to happen. And I kind of laugh because people get so upset at that stuff, but it's like, it's a corporation. I mean, their job is to make money and be as profitable as possible.
Yeah. They don't make movies. they make money.
Yeah. Did you think that they were going to sort of like altruistically try and, just give you the best? No, they're going to give you the least amount for the most amount of money that they can get from you.
Sure.
They're going to give you exactly the minimum amount. Now, as you said, Chris, Netflix sort of went against that model and was like, we're going to give you so much fucking content that you can't not pay $15 a month for it. It doesn't make any sense. But that's gotten overrun by everyone now doing the same thing. So that's changing. The golden age of streaming is maybe coming to an end. We talked about that a couple episodes ago, where it's like this bubble is going to burst and you're not going to have millions and millions and millions of dollars just poured into every conceivable concept for a television show or a movie that some streaming service will have.
And it's not like it's not like everything's going to turn into reality TV, because there is competition. And if Amazon Prime is making great original content, then you're going to migrate there if HBO Max is not, or if Netflix is not, or Apple TV. So I think there's going to be a balance, right?
Or I mean, but also I don't know. There's not a balance on cable. Like these things, like the thing with reality television shows is they're ridiculously cheap to make.
Sure.
Like ridiculously cheap to make. And you can pump it out. And you can and if you find a thing, right? You find your Housewives, or you find your franchise, the Paramount cable channel plays Bar Rescue, I don't know, 20 of the 24 hours of the day, like it's constantly on, right?
Yeah.
For a network who's, has content that exists on other things, right? So it's like, there will be a balance, but I also think there is always the danger of if you like scripted stuff, there won't be as much. Yeah. And that
I don't know. People have been saying that for years, though. Like reality TV.
I mean, there'll be another thing. There'll be another thing.
Yeah, and reality TV has been around for 30 years at this point, and people have said the same thing over and over and over again. Reality TV is so cheap to make, everything's just going to be a reality TV show. But that's not the case, because while reality TV shows are extremely popular, not everyone watches reality TV shows or wants to. I don't think HBO Max and Discovery are going to do nothing but reality TV shows. It doesn't make any sense.
It goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down, and it goes up and it goes down. I mean, until society collapses and we're not watching anything. And then
we're just watching reruns on VHS.
Then we're just fighting. We're watching the fire pits, and that's what's going to happen. But I think we have been in sort of a golden age of seeing a bunch of different things that never in a million years would you have thought existed, would have ever been made and been made well, right? So I think selfishly,
we got a Doom Patrol TV show.
Selfishly, there's a part of me that's like, that's kind of sad that people take less chances on those things, because I'm going to die someday. So who knows if I'm going to be here when the next wave up comes, right? You only get so many you only get so many summers in your life. Not to be morbid.
Wow, that All-Star Superman really did get you back.
Right.
Yeah, the morality, right? Of the mortality. I mean, it always comes back up and down, but it's always I don't know. There's always a part of you that's at least a part of me that's always I don't know. I don't I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy this as much as I was enjoying what was happening previously. And now I got to wait it out again, as I have multiple times in my life.
Yeah. We didn't realize how good we had it.
It's like the Batgirl stuff is the stuff where I'm just ooh, this seems really not to be a softie, right? But I always think about
old softie Tom.
How, in my professional life, I make like commercials and I see how hard it is to like make a 30-second commercial and how many people work on it. And then I think about making a whole movie. And like, I know like HBO, they own the movie. They can do whatever they want with it. But part of me is like, oh, to be one of the people that worked on it and then have it just disappear into the wind like dust has to be so crushing to have that happen to you, of like, you know, like, oh my God, like imagining the amount of work that went into making a movie and then have it get so close to the end. And then it's like, now.
Well, I heard that they had a private screening like at the studios.
A funeral screening.
Oh, yeah, and then I glanced over a story that basically the studio shut the directors out of the servers where the
well, they were admittedly they were going to pirate it.
Yeah, they were just going to release it out onto the internet, which would have been amazing.
Which is pretty funny, but no, I don't see. I look at the Batgirl cancellation as, yeah, it is, you know, for anyone that worked on it, I'm sure it's heartbreaking and it sucks. And, you know, it's not a good thing, but I don't necessarily look at it as sort of like a portent of things to come, in the sense of like, I understand why they did it. It was a middle of the road movie that they didn't want to put another $100 million into advertising it. It, you know, it didn't make sense for them to sit there and take a $90 million movie and go, okay, well, if we're not going to put it on HBO Max, then we have to put it in theaters. So we have to spend another $150 to $200 million budget to advertise it. It doesn't make any sense. You know, so I can understand it. It sucks. And, you know, it is a weird thing though. Like, you know, when all the cancellations for the animated shows, like, and I'm not trying to be flippant or like sort of like look at it in the sense of like people are shouldn't be upset about it. But the amount of like, oh my God, there's no point to being an artist. And it's like, well, I don't know about that. That seems a little extreme. Your show got
what animated shows are they really upset about? I know the ones I watch are Young Justice and Harley.
It was a bunch of shows I've never looked at. So for me, it doesn't really, you know, it's like, well, the one I know was the Ellen DeGeneres show. The Little Ellen show got canceled. I don't know if anyone's going to miss that a whole lot. What else got canceled?
I think Infinity Train.
Oh yeah, Infinity Train, but that'll probably end up somewhere else. I mean, that'll probably end up on Netflix or somewhere, you know, someone. And then I think a lot of these shows may be, but I think it's just HBO Max, and they said like, we're moving away from animated. Basically, they're moving away from kid shows. That's not who they are. That's not what they want to be going forward. Yeah. So they basically canceled anything that had to do with kid shows, live action or animated.
Because why should like Discovery like appeal to children?
But it's not Discovery any longer. I mean, that's the thing. Right, it's not like you're just going to be Discovery and HBO Max combined. That's essentially what it is. But I think what they're trying to do is make something actually new, because I don't think that they can just simply go, well, we're just going to merge these two companies and keep the same content and have no clear guide. I honestly that's a recipe for something to just completely fail, as opposed to going, well, we're going to cut out a bunch of shit and we're going to have, good or bad, we're going to have a direction. This is our sort of goal. This is what, you know, the direction that we're heading in. So we're going to get rid of a bunch of stuff that doesn't meet that direction. Yeah. And that, at least to me, is a sensible thing. Does it suck for anyone that works on those shows? Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's, you know, the business you're in. You're
also, HBO Max was like kind of my favorite of the streaming services.
Oh,
yeah.
Of like just like having a bunch of different things, like then that I could kind of wrap my head around what was on it. Like I could kind of understand like, oh yeah, they'll have this, you know, and like, oh yeah, there it is, you know, and like it in a certain sense, you're not in a direction of like, this is the content we make, but as far as like a unit of a streaming service, to me, I thought it was the one that made the most sense, you know, in comparison to like Amazon, where it's like, I can't fucking find anything on Amazon. I don't know what's on there. Like, it's just like
Amazon's the worst interface.
It's just like, what is this? This is on here? Like, I can't tell. I don't know. You know, Hulu is a little bit better, but Hulu too is also sort of like, there's times where things on Hulu, I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Hulu's a little bit of a flea market.
Yeah, it's just like sort of
some terrific original content.
You find great stuff in the flea market. You're going to find a lot of fucking garbage too. That's Hulu.
It's like HBO Max in my mind was the one where I was like, kind of knew. I felt like I knew what was on there or what I could expect to be on there in like a weird way.
HBO Max actually had like designers sit there and create a design system for their service so that it made sense to use, where everyone else sort of seemingly just kept sort of morphing their web page into a entertainment service. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily the best way to fucking do it. Hopefully whatever HBO Max and Discovery Plus turns into, because they're planning on it being one service, is still.
I spend less time on the HBO interface than any other streaming service because I find what I want to watch so much quicker.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon, it's like I can't even tell what the hell I have access to. Like, I don't like, that's the thing.
It's like stuff that I don't have access to, but they want me to buy, and then
it's just so confusing.
Yeah, but I mean, there was Sal. There was about a 6-month period there where we were doing ACTV, every week, and it was almost the HBO Max show. But in between, it was Winning Time and Minx, and I think we were catching up on Doom Patrol. I loved Made for Love. I was a great show. That's one that got
Snowpiercer's canceled. Did you know that?
Which one?
Snowpiercer.
After the upcoming season.
Yes.
They're in production. But that's TNT. What's the
There is a for anyone that wants to kind of have this at their fingertips, there is a Twitter feed. It's is it still on HBO Max? So you can follow that, and they go through and sort of announce whenever anything is taken off of HBO Max. So far, it's all of the HBO Max originals that have been removed from the platform: Little Ellen, My Mom, Your Dad, Odo, Ravi Patel's Pursuit of Happiness, Summer Camp Island, The Not Too Late Show with Elmo, The Runaway Bunny, Theodosia, Tig and Seek, Yabba Dabba Dinosaurs.
That's all the animated stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never.
I did hear some encouraging things that they are dedicated to not just maintaining but expanding the DC properties. So hopefully that's good news for Doom Patrol and Titans. And
Doom Patrol and Titans seemingly have been. I don't think it's official, but it seems. That they will get another season at least. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to look at it with rose-colored glasses to some degree, but it's never a good thing when they start just slashing, write-offs for bucks. But I think HBO Max was sort of, maybe this is the end of that bubble. Where it's just like they had to try and compete during COVID, but now it's like, we can get people back into the movies. I mean, I think the reality is those studios still rely on movie theater chains for a big chunk of cash, especially internationally. So, moving away from the idea of having, new releases come out on their streaming service is something inevitable, I think. And,
I may be like a lot of people in that I'm now in a very comfortable place where I don't feel a need to go to the movies because I know it's going to be on streaming in a month. And I think they do need to change that. It's, and encourage people to, go to the movie theater because it's a unique experience, right?
The problem is, what movies get made is an issue too, because it's like, say what you will about Marvel, and I love obviously all the Marvel movies, but I don't want all Marvel movies in the movie theater. There's and that's a problem too. If you're not going to stream stuff, then are some of these things. There was I only saw the clip. I haven't watched the whole episode, but it was Matt Damon was on the Hot Ones, and he talked about this. He was asked about like, why aren't other kinds of movies being made? And he made very salient points about the reasons that everything is a blockbuster, because that's the only thing that's going to survive at a movie theater any longer. It's just, you can't put that kind of money. A studio's not going to put, once again, $200 million to advertise a $90 million movie. It doesn't make any sense. And to hopefully get back now 300, 400, $500 million on a $90 million movie. What are the odds? It can happen every once in a while, but was Batgirl going to make $500 million?
No.
$800 million? I don't know. Obviously they didn't think so, but
also like the barometer of like what success is now has been altered over the years as well. Like actual success is now not just like this, in the past you could imagine movies like, oh well, this movie cost $15 million to make and we made $20 million back. Like, cool. Like, well, okay. Now it's not that, like, that math has changed to a degree that's sort of like,
well, what's also changed it is the disappearance of rentals. That used to be, you could make a $30 million movie. Yeah. It might not do great at the box office, but it could recoup, all of its money and more in rentals. And now that doesn't exist any longer. So
it's funny because this is like the modern version of major release or direct to video. It's like stuff that goes straight to streaming. That's like this era's direct to video, right?
Except there's no one's paying. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it's a subscription service.
It's a subscription, but is Netflix? I don't know. I mean, that's the thing too. I don't know how Netflix pays for that kind of stuff. Are they paying a flat fee for something? It's not like a rental thing where like something, used to be something could come out in the movie theaters and not really do anything, go to video and become a huge success in video, like a cult favorite or something, and make shit tons of money in video. That's not happening.
Evil Dead.
Yeah, right. Something like that. But now it's probably like that same movie. It does shitty at the box office. Well, that's just Netflix can buy it for cheap, and nobody's making residuals. Probably nobody. I don't know how those deals are made. I'm not obviously involved in that, but would be,
probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not the same as rental. The way rental purchases worked, where like every rental place was paying $80-$90 per like
oh my god,
sometimes copy, like
sometimes more.
Sometimes more depending on more. And like that adds up, right? Like you have a little bit of a cult hit on your hands, and you can make back your $20 million, pretty rapidly if all of a sudden like it takes off and people are renting it year after year after year. But like that's gone. Now it's like, it's like with I was thinking, I was comparing The Gray Man to Avatar. Like Avatar, the most successful movie of all time, I guess, by whatever metric you want to say that is, made the most money with all the 3D stuff, but had virtually like, there's been a bunch of articles about this, about like how it had almost like no like cultural impact of me, like even the most basic level of like memes or, like
I had a couple of people go, "Hey, did you see that movie?" And I said, "Yeah, it was pretty good." And that was about the extent of it.
But that was it, or it's like you think about something like John Wick or something that kind of like has its own, like, just to pull a movie that did have a pop cultural influence, where it like people dress up like John Wick for Halloween and like people make meme jokes about John, like it exists and like people know what it is and it had some impact on like popular culture. And like how a lot of these streaming, like what was that one that we were joking about this like a week or two ago, the one with The Rock and like the Red something, the one that was like this huge Netflix
with
movie.
Gal Gadot.
Yeah, that just
and
was
Ryan
like
Reynolds.
Huge, like less than zero impact in any way on popular culture. You know, like no
Red Letter.
like,
what was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Red Notice.
Like, just like
Thanks,
Red,
Nick.
was it just Red? No,
Red Notice.
No, it was Red Notice.
Red
but then
Notice?
thinking, that made me think too in this whole discussion. I've been thinking a lot about like the Marvel
a good movie too.
movies.
That Red Notice was pretty good.
It was fun.
Yeah, and like,
but it is a thing about like coming out of Netflix. It's it's like vapor. You know what I mean? Like it just
like
it just kind of okay. A week, we all watch it. Well, it's interesting. Like I have a couple of points. I'll just do one and then I'll let you guys talk. Neil Gaiman was saying like, hey, there's no guarantee. Sandman, hugely successful show, but everybody binged it in a week and now it's gone from like people's brains. And there's no guarantee that it's going to get a season 2 because it was super popular for 10 days, but then if it drops off the fucking radar, maybe they don't spend a shit ton of money to make a season 2 of that show. And that's
it's
sort
actually
of
better for them. It's better for them in the Netflix metrics to like people binged it fast as opposed to like extended. Like,
is it?
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it make more sense for Netflix if they did start moving toward, I mean, I think people would fucking throw a fit, but if they started moving towards a weekly release of shows, because isn't the point to get people to stay around for your subscription and not binge stuff? I mean, I don't know if that happens, if people like sign up for Netflix, watch a show and leave. I think, going back to your point earlier, it's like, well, you sign up and then you forget about it and you pay for 12
it just exists. You're like, what? Oh, I've got what's the last time I actually watched something on Netflix?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it is like vapor, right? It's just like it's here and then the next thing comes out and then the next thing comes out. It's like I will let you finish your point before I interrupt.
Oh, I think that was it. That was
oh, okay.
It was just, I thought it was interesting that, this hugely, and a cultural touchstone moment of a show. I think Sandman was a huge success for Netflix, huge success for everyone involved, and was talked about for a couple of weeks, but now it's gone. And
they did release that sneaky 11th episode.
They did, and that was an attempt to try and rectify that a little bit. But
that's a neat little bring it back for another couple days.
But it's like Netflix. We're also assuming. I don't know. Sometimes when we talk about streaming services, and I'm guilty of this, you think that they know what they're doing, and they maybe don't know what they're doing, and they make decisions like, we'll release everything at once, and it's like there must be some reason, but maybe there wasn't. Now they're just stuck with that, and that's like they're like, do them all, or like before there was HBO Max, when it was like, we have HBO Go and HBO Max, and everyone's like, why don't you just make it one? And they were like, no, and then they were like, yeah, we should. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like,
and we have this other DC thing floating out there.
It's like, oh yeah, I guess maybe that was totally what we were meant to do, was gonna just do all of these in one shot. But it's funny because you think about like the vapor thing. I mean, I think that's true for a lot of things, like everything in streaming too. Like, and I think it's true for the Marvel movies, at least the last couple to me, are just like they exist. And then they're like,
poof.
Yeah. Thor.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Shelf life. When was the last thing that sort of, I remember a time where a movie would take over this summer. And that's all anyone talked about for the summer was, Jaws, being an old man, a movie like that, or obviously Star Wars.
Infinity War, probably.
Yeah, I mean, that was probably the last time where it was like, it took over the fucking, the last few years. And I don't know if it's something to do with the pandemic, something to do with
probably a
little bit, and just the nature of the it's like everything is on a 24-hour news cycle now. It's not just news. It's everything. Everything is on a 24-hour cycle now.
Yeah.
You know, it's like news, entertainment, everything. It's like it's there and it's gone because we're just constantly being fed information. How
when the Empire Strikes Back came out, there were lines around movie theaters for weeks to see that movie. For weeks. For every showing, there were lines to get in. And it's just, there's just so much more now that I don't think that you're ever going to see anything like that again.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if there ever is something that just sort of like explodes.
People have other things to do.
Yeah.
You know, like
my kids, I think part of it too is like we grew up with that system in place. And like my kids and kids younger, like they don't even understand going to the movies. Like my kids like going to the movies because I've been taking them to the movies since they were little. But it's not like something that they think about necessarily as the first way. If they can stay at home and watch a movie, they're gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like they don't give a shit about the movie experience necessarily. I mean, they like going to the movies occasionally, but yeah, I just think it's changed so much generation by generation.
Yeah. It's just not.
You have a 70-inch TV in your house.
I do. No, it's bigger than that.
Right? TVs are nice.
And it looks way better than the fucking movie screen at my
right?
local theater.
Some movie theaters just suck.
Yeah.
They're not like a really great great of an experience to go to a movie.
The bar is like 10 feet from my couch.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is. There is certainly advantages. I mean, I still love going to the movies. I want to go. Actually, I want to go see. There's a movie I want to go see, and that's been a while since there's been one that I wanted to go see.
What is it?
I want to go see that Bodies.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because I don't think there's been an A24 movie that I haven't enjoyed. Like they're the new Miramax to me. Like they're the new, you know what I mean. Like they're kind of art housey. They make really good films that are quirky and out there, not the average sort of stuff. And everything they fucking made, I've loved. And I hope that kind of stuff still exists because it's like The Green Knight. Did you guys see The Green Knight? What a fucking great, weird movie that most people aren't going to give a shit about that movie. But I'm so glad that movie was made. Like it's a great fucking movie. And you know,
it's like a weird, like, what is this? What's that? Yeah, like totally from left field kind of thing to it, which was great. But yeah, I mean, it's like I was joking that the Marvel movies have now truly entered their comic book phase where it's like, what's happening?
What's coming out next month?
Or it's like, okay, I guess we're just kind of waiting until our next event.
It's a lull in between events. Is exactly what it is.
It's like, what is this? What? Yeah. Nothing seems to be happening. It's like, this is what comic books are like. Sometimes there's some issues where you're like, I guess we got like 3 months to fill. So
got to tell a story.
Doctor Strange doing something.
This made me think Nick Lindsay on the YouTube chat.
Oh yeah.
He said The Boys and Obi-Wan and now She-Hulk get their time in pop culture stretch out with the weekly release schedule. But think about this. Obi-Wan was what, 6 episodes, 8 episodes?
Yeah. 6. Yeah.
Every one of those episodes is probably better than the first Star Wars movie. And yet it was here and gone in a fucking month. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's talked about it since. Nobody gives a shit about Obi-Wan until the next season comes out. Star Wars, the movie, like captured the world's attention for years at theaters. Obi-Wan, 8 fucking movies essentially that look better, that are amazingly, well crafted. After a week, nobody fucking cares. You know what I mean? Like after 6 weeks or whatever it is, 8 weeks, nobody fucking gives a shit. Nobody even thinks about it again. But it's kind of wild to think about that in the sense of like how spoiled we are as well with like content at this point. There's so much that you just kind of throw away and we just fucking eat it like junk food. It's chips.
Give me more.
Just give
more
me
content.
Yeah.
Give me more content. Give me more Doom Patrol. Where's my 4th season?
The other thing I was going to bring up is I was listening to a podcast with Louis C.K. And he just came out with a independent movie that he made, and he was talking about like how he loves doing his own movies. He loves not having a studio, no one to answer to, and he can just do whatever he wants with it. Obviously it's his own money that he's using, but when it's all said and done, then he can as long as he owns it all, he can do whatever he wants with it. He sells it. Like he has a movie he went and wrote, shot, directed, produced everything, a full-length feature film, and you can download it on his website for $15. And it's a different model of sort of like making his own stuff, but it's just the way that he wants to do it. Now, it did have a theatrical release, a small theatrical release, and it did pretty well, that kind of a thing. It's not going to make $1 billion, but hopefully that, more sort of independent filmmakers continue to make films that are interesting and different and not, the same sort of blockbuster. Not that I don't like blockbusters, but Top Gun Maverick was the biggest movie of this year. That is probably the movie that took over the summer, is Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I don't you know what I mean? Like, I want other
common denominator movie. It's not going to upset anyone, and it's going to appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah,
absolutely. You guys see it?
Right. I have.
See it?
I did see it.
I haven't seen it, but I did there were so many interesting reviews. I didn't get a chance to. I will watch it eventually. I thought it was, as far as movies go, it had the best reviews of the summer, as far as like interesting things people had to say about it. I was just like there was one where someone's like, what if someone made a sequel to a not very good movie and made like a good movie? Where they were like, wait, this is like a real movie, as opposed to Top Gun, which we talked about. This is almost not even like a movie. It's so like loosely like built. It's so like
collection of scenes.
Yeah, like where it's like, oh, wait a second, what is this? I mean, I didn't see it. I just thought I thought the review discourse around it was interesting, because I think people expected one thing and sort of were like, huh. Okay, like this wasn't exactly what I was thinking this was going to be, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I agree with that necessarily. I think 75% of Top Gun Maverick is just Top Gun.
Yeah,
it's the same fucking movie. I mean, the opening scene is identical.
Yeah,
it's fucking identical to the original movie. The basic plot is kind of the same fucking thing, just told from a different perspective.
Barely a plot. Barely.
I mean, it's enough of a plot so that you can have Tom Cruise flying F-14 and F-18
to get into a dogfight. Do you guys, with there being a shorter leash for shows?
I thought you were going to talk about Tom Cruise.
Shorter leash for Tom Cruise.
But with a shorter leash for shows to kind of establish themselves, do you think we'll see more shows and creators of shows design them to work as a one-season show and kind of tell a story, and then if they do get renewed, then it's kind of fire it up again? It's because we all hate whenever you get into a show and there's a huge like season 1 cliffhanger and then it doesn't get renewed. And I think that a lot of people do that because they think they're going to have the time to.
I think everything should be shorter. Okay. Do you guys ever watch?
I'm cool with that.
Star Trek: The Next Generation's like on BBC America sometimes,
and
I loved Star Trek: The Next Generation when I was a kid. Still have a fond spot for it, but now I watch it and I'm like, holy shit! You guys had to make 23 of these a year. And it's like, and you can feel it. You can feel like oh God, we need 3 more episodes. I guess we'll have this one where where it's so much. It's so much stuff. It's so much.
I'm kind of okay with like a 6 episode season.
The
6 to 8
episode season, perfect.
It's enough for me to pay attention all the way through, because that's what happens. We talked about this on ACTV, where it was like, what was the show we were talking about? I don't any of it. I mean, Doom Patrol, Titans. It's like there's inevitably 3 episodes in the middle that just I start to blank on, and I start to glaze over.
It was Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, Umbrella Academy. Perfect example. I love the show, but there's always like 2 or 3 episodes that just start like going, oh, what the fuck? Just get back to the normal story so I can finish this fucking season.
Yep. Doom Patrol does the same thing. Titans has the same problem. It's those are 10 issue or 10 episode shows that could be 6 episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching Star Trek: The Next Generation reruns at like 10 p.m. at night, so you can fall asleep. This is soothing. It's a very soothing show, and you're like, holy shit, these guys had to really scrape the old bottom of the barrel to get to the 23. Like,
all right, guys, we got 3 more episodes.
All right, I know we already.
Who's got an idea?
God, I'm watching.
We already did one with the Borg. What else we got?
Romulan. Romulans.
Romulans.
We did 3 episodes of Romulans this season. You already forgot? No, we need.
Watch season 2 of Picard, because they just throw all that shit in there. But what's weird about I don't know if I like this season or not. I'm like 3 episodes into it, and they are taking like 1 episode of the original series where they have to go back in time, and they're basically taking that storyline and making an entire season out of it,
as one does when they're out of ideas.
I think the Picard bucket is empty.
Should just you can just end things sometimes. Sometimes that's for best. Just do 1.
Yeah.
And that's it. You don't have to do more of them, It's
Joe G just nailed it. It's awesome.
He said the new Star Trek Strange New Worlds has been the best episodic TV in a long time. Yeah, I would agree. I would say Sandman's right there with it, though. Sandman was episodic, and each episode was its own story for the most part, and it did it great. I mean, it did, episodic storytelling terrifically, not surprisingly, because it's based on the source material. But I don't know. Yeah, I think there is a double-edged sword to it, because it's like, when something's good, I can't get enough of it. But when something's good for a season, that doesn't mean it's going to be good for 5 or 3 or even 2. You know what I mean? Like, I'm watching that show, Outlaws, and it's like, I love the first season. The second season, I'm like,
maybe there wasn't any meat left on that bone.
Yeah, maybe that was enough.
Yeah,
you might have told the story. It's done. And like,
even What We Do in the Shadows. This last episode, what a pile of shit that episode was. What a garbage, cheesy, corny.
It was a change in direction, wasn't it?
Terrible.
Yeah.
First of all, anything with the Sklar brothers in it is going to be awful, because they are they're like 3 steps away from vaudeville. Like, okay, they're between twins, they barely have one career, and it's just like, why are these fucking guys still a thing? Or why are you putting them in this amazingly funny show to bring it down to this terrible level that they did? And I was just like, okay, well, sometimes you can't get 10 good episodes out of a season. You know what I mean? Like, you just
we gotta write another one. Oh my god.
Let's get twins, and we'll do a reality TV takeoff. It was so bad. It was such a terrible
what if Riker gets trapped in the transporter and there's 2 Rikers?
He did that in season 4.
All right, there we go. We got one. What if Riker falls in love with a
chair,
non-gendered alien? Yeah, got it. Done.
There did seem with Next Generation, whenever they were out of ideas, it was a Riker story.
Riker.
You could always throw a Data Sherlock Holmes in the holodeck.
Oh yeah, the holodeck was a lifesaver. It's like, you gotta save that in your back pocket. We could do
Victoria
Sherlock Holmes one. Yeah.
Data is Sherlock Holmes. Done.
We can do Old West. Yeah, the holodeck was like obviously just the writer's savior of like, I don't know what we're gonna do. Why don't we do
we'll go to Alaska.
It's a holodeck episode. We'll do a holodeck episode. It's like, oh, okay, cool.
Doesn't have to make sense.
It doesn't. You can take place wherever. What do we have extra like costumes of on the Paramount backlot?
Picard playing chess with Einstein in.
Yeah. I mean that's fine. You just start breaking it down. Like we got to let's just do this episode in like 5-minute chunks. We just need to make something up. Like,
and there's always Worf's parents come to visit episode.
Yeah. Yep, you gotta fit that one in.
Yeah.
You got a 2-parter in there somewhere. And it's like, it was always like a weird always just a weird Riker.
There always was some weird, and it usually did have him falling in love with someone or some sort of relationship thing because he was a sex symbol for some ungodly reason.
I love how prolific his career as a TV director has been after that show. He directs fucking everything.
Yeah, good for him.
Do you see Jonathan Frakes? He pops up on all sorts of weird. I was watching Leverage the other day. That's Marta. It's one of the few shows that Marta and I can watch together, directed by Jonathan Frakes.
Well, there you go. He's a prolific.
It's like, oh no, it's a Wesley episode.
Wesley
coming back.
Poor Wesley.
Then there were the Dr. Crusher episodes, and then for a couple seasons there was the episode with the other doctor who no one can remember her name.
Dr. Pulaski. And that was the second season. Yeah.
Oh, as a Chicagoan, I should know that.
Yeah.
Pulaski.
I can't wait to see what episode's on tonight that I can gently fall asleep to. Like,
nice. Well,
anything
else? I mean, we talked basically streaming TV tonight. We didn't touch on the fact that Time Warner, Discovery, all that. They own DC, so. Do you think there's going to be a ripple effect that comes down to affect the publishing of the comics? Or is that just kind of like that weird specter that floats over the industry all the time?
No one ever remembers that they make comics.
Yeah, I think it's so small it doesn't really matter.
It's a rounding number.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't. I'm sure if it'll have some sort of effect, but I think that I still don't know why Warner Brothers still owns DC Comics. Like, other than the idea of like, well, I mean, they did talk about, hey, we want now the new CEO of HBO and Warner Brothers is like, we're going to take a 10-year plan now with the DC movies. And I think this is part of that plan of like, we're going to kind of clear the slate. We're starting a little bit from scratch and,
mulligan.
A little bit, and so maybe they're looking at it more seriously. Maybe they're I don't know what effect that might have on the comics or not, as far as people working in comics for DC, but hopefully nothing bad.
Do you think we're ready for a bright, shiny era of superhero movies? Could they go like a complete 180 from the Snyder look and feel and make like really like bright, hopeful superhero movies?
Would anybody really want that?
I don't know.
Does anybody? I mean, what do you? I don't know. I don't think so. Especially when you have stuff like The Boys that's incredibly popular. Yeah.
And make more movies like the original Superman, which was a bright.
I don't think like Aquaman's a million miles away from that. As far as like of just like. He's a hero, is he like kind of rough around the edges, but like in the end he's about as, to use the wrestling parlance, as babyface as you get, as far as like I like this guy, like.
And that movie was very bright and colorful and it wasn't overly dark or sinister or sort of angst filled or anything. It was but then you had the Batman, so it's like
Yeah.
Which was the opposite in so many ways of that kind of a thing. I don't know.
Just black label it. You know, like Batman exists the same as I don't think it's a crazy idea all the time. I mean, I think, and this is obviously a much larger conversation, if you're looking at like, what do we do with these characters? Like, I wish we had a Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it's like, well, you don't. You know, like you didn't make an Iron Man. You didn't make some movie that was so like popular. As much as I enjoyed the Batman, did it have like that impact that Iron Man did sort of pop culturally? No. Like, did it have that momentum behind it? No, not really. I mean, COVID had something to do with that. I think the fact that there's like a million Batman movies has something to do with that, right? Like, there's a lot of Batman, right?
Miles Teller as Green Lantern.
There you go. Yeah.
Miles Teller, off the success of Top Gun Maverick, you put him back into a jet fighter, you make him a test pilot, make him a Green Lantern. Yeah. He's Hal Jordan. It fucking writes itself. God damn it. I mean, sign the guy up. I don't know what else, it's the perfect time to wipe away the terrible Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. And it doesn't have to be dark. It should be bright. It should be fun.
Yeah.
I think there's so many opportunities for DC Comics to do things. Like I said, Metal Men, Booster Gold, and Blue Beetle. You give those characters to James Gunn. You know what I mean? Like, what's he going to do with it?
A Bwahaha Justice League.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like something like that.
Well, I mean, HBO Max, we have fucking Peacemaker. Who the fuck thought there would ever be a Peacemaker show that not just got made, but it was fucking good?
Yeah. I mean, I could imagine like a Bwahaha Justice League in that like vibe and style of like, not probably that same necessary type of humor, but I can see it in my head.
A comedy,
like like a comedy, like action, based show that could work in that.
How about a Jonah Hex Western that is an actual Jonah Hex story and not some weird sci-fi abomination?
I think there's something to be said too for like being like, do you really actually need Peacemaker to be in the same universe as the Batman, or do the way comics fucking work, where they are but they kind of aren't, but they kind of are, but they kind of like, you don't see everyone in every comic, and you don't like, not everything has to be so intertwined as like the Marvel movies were.
You make it as intertwined as you want to, or as the story demands. It's one of the things I love about the Harley Quinn animated is that it takes place in the DC universe, but that DC universe, it's very,
it's like,
it's its own world.
You don't need it to be this super tight intertwined. I know, like, maybe that's what people expect now for whatever reason.
It's fiction. Have fun with it.
I think you've seen the strength of doing it that way in the Marvel movies, but I think you're also starting to see the weakness of that in the Marvel movies, where that interconnectedness, when you don't have the big event to base it around, now you're just kind of like waiting around, right? Like, there's not a lot of style.
They have the problem that comics don't. Every 10 years, they have to roll their primary cast over. They get too old.
Well, right? for now, because eventually we'll be able to just, CGI everybody in. You'll sign a lifetime contract that I'm now getting, so-and-so will be Batman for the next 80 years.
Yeah.
And then you'll just like use this person's likeness. I mean, that's coming.
Tom Cruise will be the first
to sign up. Oh yeah, Tom Cruise will be the first one, right?
Yeah, he'll be the first immortal actor. He'll never die.
Yeah, who's to say that he hasn't fucking done it already?
Like that, and it ties into lots of weird Scientology shit to be like, I'll sign a $1 billion contract to be in.
Oh, he would.
Oh wow! Now that I just thought about that shit, that's gonna happen, right?
He's gonna be. Do you guys want to go over some quick? I have two things I can offer. I have a comic book that I could talk about, or I have some comic book news we could kind of rapid fire go through.
Let's do comic book news rapid fire. Wrap this bad boy up. Save the comic for next week. We'll talk comics next week.
All right. News alert! This
Can't believe that's part of our show now.
Of course,
hot
news! Breaking news!
Ezra Miller has committed yet.
He's murdered 17 people.
He's in your state now.
No, there's just a couple of things that were announced that I thought were pretty cool. One was
mothballed movies.
They're going to make a Planet Hulk sequel with Greg Pak revisiting Planet Hulk. It's going to be called Planet Hulk World Breaker.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I like Planet Hulk.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
JR doing it. Was it Romita Jr.?
No, it's going to be artist Carlo Pagulayan.
Oh yeah, what did he just do that I really liked? I forget what. There was something like a month or two ago that I was like, "Damn, this is good.
This is good stuff." What else we got? Marvel Multiverse RPG announced. There's going to be a multiverse role-playing game from Marvel coming out. The release window for the upcoming Marvel Multiverse RPG, along with details about the game's first adventure, the core rule book for Marvel Multiverse RPG, will be released June 2023. The first adventure book, The Cataclysm of Kang, will be released July of 2023. Cataclysm of Kang adventure book will offer players the option of either creating heroes that progress from street level heroes to cosmic champions, or choose a different set of heroes to face off in the 6 interlocking adventures in the book. I think we should really play that when it comes out. I think we should absolutely at least do one game.
We all played Marvel superheroes as kids, right?
Oh, hell yes. Yeah. Villains and Vigilantes, Marvel superheroes. Yeah. I played so many.
It was a terrible role-playing game. It was awesome playing character, but it sounds like this is fixing what was wrong with that. It's like you have character advancement, and that's fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably buy it, and it is gonna be a D616 system. I don't know what that means. I think it's their own rule set, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, I guess so here's one of the three. There's 3 dice. One of the 3 dice is called a Marvel dice and can trigger a fantastic roll with good consequences whenever it rolls a 1. If a player rolls a pair of 6s on the standard dice and a 1 on the Marvel die, it's considered an ultimate fantastic roll that counts as an automatic success. So you have sort of like critical. So 6, if you roll a 616, essentially.
Oh, it's a 616. Are you kidding me? That's hilarious.
The 616. So.
We got to find out. If one of the online like D20 will have this ready to go, so you can.
I also
play online.
Did you see they announced the Dragonlance rulebook?
What?
Yeah, they just announced it. It's coming out next year. Or maybe it's coming out at the end of this year. I think it's coming out in December.
Is it it's expansion of the existing D&D system?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you get to create characters in the Dragonlance world, and the first campaign it takes you from 0 to 11 in the Dragonlance world during the War of the Lance. So,
yeah, and I really want to do that now.
Yeah, I know. I want to do both. So. Justice Society America is back in comics. DC's biggest heavy hitters expand on the team's reintroduction in Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths for an ongoing series set to debut in November. DC announced 3 new titles from writer Jeff Johns. A one-shot, The New Golden Age #1, a limited series of Stargirl, The Lost Children, and perhaps most notably, the surprising and long-awaited, a new ongoing JSA series covered by Michael Janin. So yeah, I think it's going to be.
Did we?
Did we ever make fun of the fact that they changed the name of Dark Crisis to Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths like 3 issues in?
I don't think we ever did. No, I don't think we ever. I never realized that.
It should be roasted. Like, come on, guys.
Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
On Infinite, and it's like, and then in future reprintings, we'll put that on the first 2. It's like, you lost me. I'm sorry.
I'm out.
Like, I'm out. Listen. A little forethought, all right? Just like just a tiny bit of thinking ahead of time. Like, I guess we'll name it this. Like, I want to be in the meeting where someone's like, we should have just called it Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
We still can.
Like,
we still can. That. That's the beauty of monthly comics. We can still change that.
We can change it.
Jay Garrick, Ellen Scott will be new members of the JSA.
Okay. Jay Garrick? Oh, no, well, of course, Jay Garrick. Sorry, got my J's mixed up.
And they'll be able to, I don't know who else is in it. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought that was cool.
It sounds like original JSA.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Also, I thought Tom would like this. Sabretooth and the Exiles is getting Sabretooth is getting a new ongoing series, Sabretooth and the Exiles. So that mini series is expanding into So there you go.
I do like that.
Yeah.
I do enjoy that.
Starting in November.
Keep going. Who would know that I would like a Sabretooth series as much as not me? I'm surprised.
Is that all the news worth knowing? News worth knowing?
What else? I think John Barenthal is coming back as the Punisher in Daredevil Born Again on Disney. And
that's right. He does kind of cool.
Yeah, that's about it. I think that's about it this week.
Have you guys seen the She-Hulk ads on the highway that look like lawyer? Like,
no, I haven't.
Okay, they're pretty good. They're out driving. Keep an eye on
I saw the second episode today, and I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to.
Oh, good. Well, I'll have to watch that. I haven't watched it yet.
It's got like a big picture. You know, it's like in any city, right? When you're driving around, there's lawyer billboards everywhere, and it's like a big one of her, and it's just like, I go green so you can get the green. You know, attorney, you know, and it just looks like a bad
Better Call Saul. It's kind of a Better Call Saul.
Abraham.
You know, like, I'll get you your money. You know, like the 75% of billboards on the highway are just like lawyers in weird outfits looking angry, just like, I'm gonna get you your money.
Let me fight for you.
Have
you been the victim of
anything?
I'll get you money. Whatever it is, I'll find some cash.
I'll do it. I go green so you get the green.
I did see the I don't know if it was part of the episode or it was just sort of a promotional thing, but I saw a video of the actress that plays Titania. Mm-hmm. She was like spray painting over She-Hulk bus. It was like it was sort of not painted, but like posterized a bus of She-Hulk, and she was up there like spray painting She-Hulk. So I don't know if that was in the episode or if that was just a promo thing. That I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, the whole Titania thing starts to make a little bit more sense as you find out more about her as an internet influencer.
Okay. Well, that's I hope it makes more sense because it made no sense.
Yeah.
In the first episode, it was just sort of there, but
going after those clicks.
Yeah. Well, it happens. Gotta get them clicks, man.
Yeah.
I gotta get them clicks.
Give me them clicks.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap this one up. Are we good? Are we done?
Yeah, I was going to talk about my comic book I got, but that's okay.
We're going to talk about it next week.
Next week's fine.
Next week.
Yeah, I got to do some work tonight.
Me too. Real quick, if you want to help the show out and get access to other content, you can do so by going to patreon.com/ patreon.com/around comics. There for just a few bucks a month, you can help us not have to worry about paying to host this and distribute it and all that stuff, because the streaming channels aren't going to pick us up. Our Warner Brothers deal has been canceled.
Also, you get ad-free episodes. You not just bonus content, but you also get this episode will be ad-free on Patreon as a podcast, as opposed to live. Of course, you can always watch it live ad-free, but on our iTunes and Spotify there are ads. So
yep. And speaking of watching it live, I want to thank everyone that chimed in on the comments tonight. Appreciate that, and it's always fun to see conversations kind of popping up between the people that are watching. So thanks for doing that. We have ACTV actually in 2 weeks. This week is K-Billy Super Sounds.
The end.
It's our last weekend of Tarantino. We're at the end.
Also want to thank everybody that chimed in on the poll that I put out on Twitter about what we should talk about tonight, and the winner was HBO Max. So we gave the people what they asked for.
You only have yourselves to blame.
Yeah, give them what they want. Also, if you are a fan of K-Billy Super Sounds, or think you might be a fan of us talking about movies, I would go to filmforce5.com or filmforce5, the Twitter handle, and follow that stuff, because that's going to be something new coming out relatively soon.
Yay.
From some of your favorite people.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. So we got that.
You're getting involved in it, Tom.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna rope you in for sure.
Rope me in, baby.
Tom, there will be many episodes. So you'd be like, oh, I could talk about that. Yeah. So that's all I got. You guys, anything else?
I think I'm good.
All right, awesome. Well, we will be back on this here show next Thursday, 8:00 ish Central Standard Time. In the meantime,
in between time,
we'll be everywhere in
and around comics.
Gotta go stream some stuff.
Drain what? What are you
gotta
draining?
go stream some stuff.
Oh, stream.
Yeah, I gotta start stream. I'm always streaming.
I gotta stream some stuff.
Healthy stream.
Ooh, good prostate.